don't know if I can get sued for this or not, but I'm here to tell you why working at McDonald's sucks. Besides the connotation that you get for being a failure, desperate for money, and generally lowest class of the low, which is not true, because I'm not lowest class of the low, if you can't tell by my swanky cabinets back there. I go to a decent school, a very expensive decent school. I'm not scum of the earth like people would expect to work at McDonald's, and nor am I stupid or dumb, but that's how the people treat you. And that's my first point. Customer service. It's terrible. I mean, you try your best. It is a thankless job. You are paid minimum wage or close to it to give people food that will kill them. It will kill them, because I don't know if you've seen Super Size Me, but you can see that it will kill you. I myself work the drive-thru, which is probably the one place where people would be the rudest, because people are waiting in line, they're in their cars, they're comfortable, they don't want to wait more than 20 seconds, 40 seconds for their food. The thing is though, the speaker, not a very good medium of communication. They'll be this far away from the speaker and they'll be like, and you've got this little headset that has both the people in the drive-thru, the person at the next window, which you call the presenting window, where the people get their food, and then the main person at the table where they make the burgers. We call them sandwiches for some reason, even though sandwiches are in a different category. And when you have three people talking into one ear at once, it's kind of hard to focus, especially if you're new, like I was, for about 6 months, because drive-thru really wasn't my strong suit until the last half of my work experience there. And then you have the menu, the touchscreen menu. It's about the size of my computer here, and you tap it. And the thing is, if you don't tap it exactly right, it taps everything around it. And when you accidentally tap something and there's nothing else on the menu, you can't delete it without having something else on there. So you have to wait until they repeat what they want, because you couldn't hear them in the first place. And then you get stuck with that item on the menu, and then you have the sandwich maker saying, do they really want that? And then you have the person in the drive-thru saying, I didn't want that. And then you're like, holy crap, shut up, and you can't say that, because you'll get in trouble. And it's just really, really stressful and confusing. I remember one time I was in the drive-thru, and this is just an example of just classic rude, dumbass people. The timer goes off, which is really loud. It's like a boom. And you push a button, you say, hi, what can I get for you? You don't say, welcome to McDonald's, I'm going to take your order, because that takes too long, according to the managers. I hear this lady's voice, hey, hold on! 20 seconds go by. Do you need help finding anything? Hold on! Another 10 seconds. Alright, I'll take up, blah, 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 blah. I think she ordered number 2 or something, which is a quarter pounder. And then she ordered a kid's meal. So I'm like, alright, here's your total at the next window. And then she pulls up to the window, and as I have the next person behind her and I'm taking her order, she keeps saying, hey, 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 trying to give me the money. And I'd been doing this for a while, the drive-thru bit. And I reached out to try to grab the money without looking, and somehow she took so much offense to this that it was just insane. I'm looking at the screen typing and I'm holding my hand out, and I don't feel anything in my hand. So I look away from the screen while this other person's jabbering in my ear. And then she just goes, and slams the money down in my hand, right? You know, normally I'm like, okay, I'll give you this leeway, because what do you expect from a McDonald's drive-thru? But she gave me this weirdest look, this nastiest, like holier-than-thou look. And it was weird, because I could see it through her big dragonfly sunglasses, you know, the Gucci or Prada. And she was one of those women that should be in California, you know, in the Los Angeles area. Shit ton of makeup, bleach blonde hair, giant glasses. And I'm guessing that the girl next to her was her daughter, about 5 or 6, maybe 7. Exact same. And it was just so sad. It was so disappointing. You should not ever, ever force materialistic tendencies upon a child. Ever. I was really disappointed. So I swipe her card. Thank God she used a credit card instead of a freaking cash, because, oof. And she's just mouthing off at me the whole time. She's like, you're not listening, you're not listening. I'm trying to listen to this other guy taking order. In fact, I had already gone through one person and was taking the person after that guy. So there was somebody waiting behind this plastic woman's gigantic fucking SUV. I'm like, thank you, have a nice day. After I said have a nice day, she's like, yeah, okay. And as she's pulling away, I'm like, under my breath, bitch. And then I guess she heard me, because when she got back down there and then the drive-thru cleared out, the guy down at the window was like, hey, Rain, you just got called a moron. And I just couldn't stop laughing. And the best part, when my boss got there, the manager that heard it was obligated to tell him, because, you know, my boss, really cool guy. If I had a boss like him again, I would not object to it. But he laughed. He laughed so hard that people were asking what he was laughing about, and then pretty soon the entire store knew why he was laughing. And he just looked at me and said, just don't do it again. And it was fantastic, because I got away with calling the plastic woman a bitch. Anyways, point number 2, the working atmosphere. The people are cool normally, but when you're stressed and the managers are trying to make a certain time or a certain amount of money for a certain period of the day, they get really bossy and they get really rude. And if you don't do something right, exactly right, they yell at you. And I've actually had somebody throw meat at me before, but it was cold meat. And when you work on what they call levels, which is the hamburger and chicken grills, and then you have the fry and fish and chicken vats on the other side, it's disgusting. You go home after your shift and your hair is just covered with grease. You literally feel filthy. I showered maybe twice a day. Once before I went to work in hopes that it wouldn't stick to me, and then once when I got back. It was just disgusting. And third point for me was the hours. It was just a huge pain in the ass. Like, it wasn't a pain in the ass because of how they scheduled me, because they were actually really good about the scheduling. They were flexible. They're like, submit a form with your availability and we'll plan around it. And I did. And until the scheduling manager scheduled me earlier than a bus would run, because for the first 3/4 of my time there, I didn't have a car. So I'd have to take the bus at god-awful hours in the morning. The first bus came at 5, so I would start work at 6, because it would take me about an hour. I would have to hoof the mile from the bus stop to the place, just to get myself covered in grease. And then on the way back, people wouldn't sit next to me because I would smell so bad. When the winter of that year started, I started taking classes at the nearby community college, and then I had to do split shifts, which were really, really a big pain in the ass, because the manager didn't like it, but it was the only thing I could do. Otherwise, I'd only get 3 hours a day, and I can't do that. I would do 3 hours, go to school for 4 hours, and then come back and do 5. So I would have a total of 8 working hours and 4 hours at school, so basically a 12-hour day. Which, to like corporate people, blue-collar workers, and white-collar workers, that seems easy, but when you're in that kind of atmosphere, it's just very, very stressful. There was one saving grace, though, the maintenance lady. She was like my third mom. She was really nice. Her name's Lori. I don't know if anybody watching this will know who she is, but she's really awesome. She's really nice, and she really cares about people. And it's not often you find someone like that at McDonald's. But yeah, the customer service sucks, the working conditions are horrible, and as you may well know, the food is also disgusting and bad food. And that's my work experience at McDonald's. Let this be a lesson to you all, that no matter how desperate you are, never, ever, 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 ever work in a McDonald's. Oh, hey, and don't forget to click, I forget whether it's on the left or the right, because my image is mirrored, subscribe, because there'll be a lot of these coming as soon as I think of subjects in my own topic. The end!